Nigeria does create a lot of chances, because they've got attacking midfielders, they've got probably the greatest striker from the African continent right now, and Victor Osimhen, one of the best strikers in the world. You understand?
Exactly.
I mean, he's scoring goals as if they are nothing in the Turkish league. You understand? And he comes to Africa, he comes to play for the Nigerian national team, and he struggles. Gabon has got an attacking threat in Aubameyang. You understand? One of the best strikers that the African continent has seen. And in their last match, he scored 4 goals. You understand? So Nigeria, in whatever they do, tactically, technically, should also be careful of what Gabon has in Aubameyang.
So hello there, welcome to Our Media Sports. My name is Marigold. So today we are going to talk about the World Cup qualifiers playoffs. So as we all know, 9 countries, African countries have qualified for the World Cup. There's a last spot. Africa is allowed to have 10 qualifiers. So there's a last spot there, just lying there. We are going to have a preview of the matches that are the Nigeria versus Gabon and the Cameroon versus DR Congo matches. And I have here with me Mr. Force. How are you doing?
I'm blessed, I'm good.
Okay, so the matches we are about to preview, let's start with the Cameroon versus DR Congo. What's your take on that match?
Well, I think in the first place, Cameroon shouldn't even have qualified. You understand? She shouldn't have placed second, because if you look at the way they were shambolic, they were poor in the qualifiers. I thought that with the kind of quality that they've gotten and the name Cameroon, because when it comes to African football, Cameroon is one of the big hitters, one of the big footballing nations. But for them to not have played above and beyond themselves was to me a surprise. But I wasn't really expecting them to have qualified, to the playoffs, but they have done that. But against DR Congo, I think it's going to be a tough match, you understand? Because DR Congo has shown that they've got the capabilities, they've got what it takes, you understand, to upset the big guns. And I think that it's going to be a very, very tough match for either side.
So what game are you expecting? Are you expecting a tactical one or just an open attacking game?
Well, both teams' lives are dependent on this match. You understand? I mean, if you want to go to the World Cup proper, if you want to qualify for the, Dr. Congo has never been to the World Cup. You understand? I mean, Cameroon has been there a couple of times. So Dr. Congo would have so much urge, would have the desire to want to be there. So I think that it's going to be both tactical and an open game. Remember that you have only, this match, to prove that you deserve to be at the World Cup. So at the end of the day, it depends on the idealization of their coaches. You understand? Because the matches that I have seen Dr. Congo play, I have seen them being open, scoring a lot of goals. Because you remember the match they played against Senegal, where they went 2-0 into the lead, before allowing Senegal to come into the game, and then having lost that game by 3-2. So I think that it's going to be an open game. And remember that Cameroon is not a team that's scoring a lot of goals, you understand? So what is going to happen is that, yes, they are both going to be careful of each other, but they would also want to get goals. But to me, I think that it's going to be a closely fought affair, because there's not going to be too many goals in this match. It's going to be a tactical match, and the most we could see is a goal or two.
A goal or two, okay. So, like you said, Cameroon, they've not really gotten a lot of goals. So I'm guessing that you think when it comes to this match, DR Congo is going to come in with more confidence. Am I right?
Yes, DR Congo should have confidence, because they went toe-to-toe with Senegal. You understand? And if you want to talk about historical precedents, then Cameroon should have confidence. But when you talk about current form, I don't think that Cameroon has got what it takes to scare any opponent. So I don't think that it is going to be wrong for me to say that Dr. Congo should come into this match with so much confidence, because of, if you look at the way they were able to perform in the group involving Senegal, because it was only Senegal who beat them to the first spot. So I think that, yes, they are going to come into the match against Cameroon with so much confidence, because they've got what it takes to upset Cameroon. Okay,
so what's your prediction for this game? I think you said a 1 or 2 game. So who is it going to be in favor of? Which team?
I would prefer Dr. Congo to qualify. I would prefer Dr. Congo. But when it comes to one thing that you would also have to take into consideration is the fact that when teams that don't have the pedigree qualify to the World Cup, what has been their performances? You understand? I mean, we saw Togo go to the World Cup. What was the performances? You understand? So I don't want just the numbers at the World Cup. I want teams that will go to the World Cup and put up a spectacle, put up good performances, because it adds to our numbers in case the World Cup would have to be expanded again. Because if you look at precedents, you realize that only few African countries have been able to make it out of the group stages. You're talking about Nigeria, you're talking about Cameroon, you talk about Ghana, you talk about recently Morocco. So it is quite difficult for teams from Africa to go to the World Cup and they make a very, very decisive impact. So from that angle, I would say that Cameroon have got so much experience compared to DR Congo. But for me, I would prefer DR Congo to qualify.
Okay, since you are preferring DR Congo, I'm sure there's a man you are looking forward to seeing that you know that this player could actually take DR Congo to the qualification. So which man you think is going to be, or which player do you think is going to be the man of the match?
One thing about this DR Congo team is the fact that they don't have any marquee player. Do you understand? They don't have any player whom you can pull out and say that this is whom is going to make the DR Congo team win. Unlike when you go to what's the name, Cameroon, where you have Mbeumo. You understand? When you have Mbeumo, who is performing really, really well for Manchester United. Where you have other players out there in Cameroon. When it comes to man to man, I think that Cameroon has got so much quality compared to what's the name, DR Congo. But it is a desire that I am looking at. You understand? So on the side of Cameroon, on the side of Dr. Congo, I don't think that they've got one marquee player or one player who's going to stand out and then lead them to qualification. You understand? Okay. But it is that desire, it is that the composure, it is that the collective unity that they've been able to build over the past 2 years that to me is going to do it for them. And don't forget, against Senegal, in both legs in the qualifiers, they were able to put up a show, not because of just one player or two players, you understand, but because of the collective. They play as a team, defensively and attackingly. So that is what is going to help them compared to the individual players that what's the name, Cameroon has gotten. Okay,
so for DR Congo, it's a teamwork, but Cameroon has the man of their whole team. Okay, so away from that, let's talk about the Nigeria versus Gabon. What's your take on that game? Looking at their recent matches, which team do you think is going to come in with the confidence that they are going to qualify for the World Cup?
When it comes to confidence, okay, I think that Gabon is rather going to come in with so much confidence because nobody expected Gabon to be where they are currently. You understand? Because everybody expected Nigeria to have qualified automatically. Because if you look at the group that Nigeria found themselves in with South Africa, Benin, and I think Lesotho, nobody, Zimbabwe, nobody actually expected what's the name, Nigeria to be in the current situation that they find themselves in. So when it comes to confidence, I think that Gabon haven't even qualified as a second place team is going to give them so much confidence compared to Nigeria. So I think that Gabon comes to this match as the most confident team of the two.
Okay, so looking at the historical meetings between these two teams, which team do you think will shape the expectations of the game?
You see, Nigeria is a powerhouse. You understand? I mean, 3 times African Cup of Nations champions. I've been to the World Cup. I've been to the I think round of 16th. I mean, been to the under 20. But when it comes to historical precedents, Gabon wouldn't be a match to Nigeria. You understand? But we don't necessarily have to look at that historical precedent. We don't necessarily have to look at history. You're looking at what are the teams doing currently.
Okay.
Yes, you understand. So currently, I think historically Nigeria has so much upper hand over Gabon. You understand? But when it comes to what the teams want to achieve, what they are doing currently, I would say that Gabon has got so much urge and desire. But you see, that comes in quality. When it comes to quality, there's no team on the African continent that has got so much quality compared to the Nigerian national team. You understand? But they've been able to deceive us, because if you look at the quality that they possess and the kind of performances that they put in on the pitch, I think that it doesn't correlate. So when you look at the Nigerian team sheet then you look at the team sheet from that of Gabon, you would automatically say that Nigeria should qualify or Nigeria should beat Gabon, but it's not going to be that easy.
Okay. So you said, like you said, Nigerians' history was way better. So what can they do now ahead of this game that can fix, their tactical ways of scoring?
Sometimes it's not just tactics. You understand? Sometimes it's just the players. Because the last match I watched between Nigeria and Gabon, between Nigeria and Benin Republic, Nigeria does create a lot of chances, because they've got attacking midfielders, they've got probably the greatest striker from the African continent right now, and Victor Osimhen, one of the best strikers in the world. You understand?
Exactly.
I mean, he's scoring goals as if they are nothing in the Turkish league. You understand? And he comes to Africa, he comes to play for the Nigerian national team, and he struggles. One, because he doesn't get the service that he needs. You understand? So I think that it is just about how connected the team is going to be from midfield to attack. You understand? And don't forget that whatever Nigeria is going to do, they should also be careful of the fact that Gabon has got an attacking threat in Aubameyang. You understand? One of the best strikers that the African continent has seen. And in their last match, he scored 4 goals. You understand? So Nigeria, in whatever they do, tactically, technically, should also be careful of what Gabon has in Aubameyang.
So I like how you spoke about Osimhen. The match they had between Benin and Nigeria, he was single-handedly, in fact, taking Nigeria to where they are right now, because he scored 3 goals. That's when they made 4-0. Yeah. So speaking of Osimhen, do you think he's going to be the man of the match, or do you think history is going to repeat itself by him scoring that much goals when it comes to the Gabon versus Nigeria?
When it comes to strikers, it's not difficult for them to become man of the matches. You understand? Because so far as you get a goal or 2, and then you just play well, you become the man of the match. So automatically, I think that it's going to be between Victor Osimhen and Aubameyang.
Okay. So what's your prediction for this game?
I would. Nigeria has been to the World Cup a couple of times. They've not made any impact. You understand? So from my end, I would love Gabon to qualify. Yes.
Okay. So he is loving Gabon to qualify. You can tell me what team you are in support of when it comes to the playoffs for the World Cup. I'd like to know that in the comment section. Well, this is Our Media Sports. My name is Marigold. I had Foster here. We had a good time. And hope you guys subscribe to this channel. See you next time.